Hi guys, this is Nick from Build a Bike. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily adjust the gears on your road bike or your mountain bike. Enjoy the video and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Most people find adjusting their gears quite intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be. Let's have a quick look at the different parts of the rear derailleur. Not actually part of the derailleur itself, but the derailleur hanger attaches to the frame, and this is what the derailleur attaches to. It's a sacrificial part that'll bend or break if the bike falls or if you have an accident. But this happens so that the derailleur doesn't get damaged. Then at the back of the derailleur you have 3 screws, a B screw, a high limit and a low limit screw. The B screw controls the clearance between the upper derailleur pulley and the cassette. The high limit screw controls how far outboard the derailleur cage moves, and the low limit screw controls how close the derailleur cage is allowed to move to the spokes. We have the cable tension adjuster, also known as a barrel adjuster, the cable anchor bolt, which secures the cable to the derailleur, and then lastly the derailleur cage housing the pulleys. If the high limit screw is out of adjustment, the chain could get lodged between the frame and the cassette. If the low limit screw is out of adjustment, the chain could slip over the largest cog and into the spokes, potentially damaging the spokes and jamming the whole drivetrain. It's very important that these screws are adjusted correctly so that the chain actually reaches the cog in the high end and the low end of the cassette. If your gears aren't working properly at all, I would suggest the following. Release the cable from the cable anchor bolt with your 5mm Allen key. This removes any chance of cable tension compensating for an incorrectly adjusted derailleur. If once the cable is removed from the derailleur, and you spin the cranks and the chain does not go down to the smallest cog, you know that your high limit screw is out of adjustment. It shows that the high limit screw is turned too far in and it's limiting the movement of the derailleur cage too much. In this case, we can simply turn the high limit screw counterclockwise, and I'm going to try and turn it 1.5 turns, and yes, the chain slips into the smallest cog where it should be. To check the adjustment of the low limit screw, simply wrap your finger around the back of the derailleur, push the pivot point with your thumb and turn the cranks. Push the body of the derailleur and the cage towards the spokes, and it should easily slip into the largest cog, but the chain should not go over. If the chain doesn't make it all the way to the largest cog, you need to turn the low limit screw counterclockwise, and if it goes over the largest cog into the spokes, you need to turn the low limit screw clockwise. Once you've adjusted your limit screws correctly, it's time to reattach the cable to the cable anchor bolt. Make sure that the cable housing is properly seated into the barrel adjuster. Screw the barrel adjuster all the way in, as much as it'll go, and then give it a full rotation out again. This is just to give yourself room for further adjustments of cable tension if needed. So pull the cable as tight as you can with your fingers and tighten down the cable anchor bolt. So pedal gently while you attempt to shift into the next highest gear. Now I gave it a click, but it didn't really go where I wanted it to. So I'll put the shifter back into the smallest cog position and add about a rotation from the barrel adjuster, and try that again. Now I can see it might need more cable tension because it's not making its way into the next largest cog. Starting from the shifter in the smallest cog position, you can see it still doesn't make it. It needs a bit more cable tension. Always start with the shifter in the smallest cog position so that you can make sure that it's reaching the next cog properly. So pedal gently, do a shift up, and there it went in perfectly. At this point, shift down again, it jumps perfectly into the next smallest cog. So I'm pretty happy with the cable tension. The final check is to move the chain up to the top of the cassette and back down again in 1 shift increments to make sure that everything is perfect. At this point I can see that the chain doesn't really make it into the largest cog easily enough, so I'm going to turn the low limit screw counterclockwise half a rotation. This will let the derailleur cage move a little bit closer to the spokes. And voila, there it is. Now 1 shift at a time down the cassette. It's important to remember that when you're shifting down, the only thing that's helping the chain move down the cassette is the spring tension within the derailleur itself. Now we've done that and we're happy with cable tension and the derailleur limit adjustment, we can simply put a cable end onto the cable to stop it from fraying, and we're pretty much done. Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit like and subscribe. See you soon. And remember, bicycles change lives.